Can Stoic philosophy lead you to financial freedom? Let's delve into that, but first let's visit the foundations. Stoicism, a philosophy originating from ancient Greece and Rome, has stood the test of time and remains relevant today. Known for its emphasis on emotional resilience and acceptance of whatever happens in life, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we can't. It's a philosophy that encourages us to live in accordance with nature, to be moderate, and to understand that our happiness lies in our own actions and attitudes, not in material possessions or external events. Now let's pivot to financial freedom. It's a term that's been buzzing around a lot lately, but what does it truly mean? At its core, financial freedom is the ability to live the life one wants without worrying about money. It's about having your money work for you instead of you working for your money. It's not about accumulating vast wealth, but about having enough to meet your needs and desires, to provide for your loved ones, and to live a life of choice and abundance. So where do these two concepts intersect? How can a philosophy that's over 2,000 years old help us achieve financial freedom in today's world? The answer lies in the core principles of Stoicism. The practice of emotional resilience, the focus on what we can control, and the understanding that true happiness doesn't lie in material wealth, can all be applied to our financial lives. Imagine understanding that our financial success isn't determined by external factors, but by our own actions and decisions. Imagine being able to navigate the volatility of financial markets with emotional resilience. Imagine not being attached to material wealth, but understanding that true wealth comes from within. Understanding the principles of Stoicism can be a game changer in your journey towards financial freedom. Meet John, a man who used Stoic principles to achieve financial freedom. Once just an ordinary guy, John lived a life defined by the 9-to-5 grind and the weight of a mountain of debt. The constant worry about the next bill, the next emergency, the next unforeseen expense was a dark cloud that followed him unceasingly. Then John encountered Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that would fundamentally change his approach to life and specifically money. Stoicism, with its emphasis on personal ethics informed by its system of logic and views on the natural world, seemed like an unlikely solution to his financial woes. But John found that it had much to offer. The first Stoic principle that John adopted was acceptance. He accepted his current financial situation not with resignation, but with a clear-eyed understanding of the reality of his circumstances. This acceptance didn't mean that he stopped striving for better. Instead, it freed him from the cycle of denial and despair that had held him captive. Next, John focused on what he could control. In his financial life, this meant his spending and saving habits. He began to distinguish between wants and needs, cutting out unnecessary expenses. He started saving diligently, not because he desired a hoard of wealth, but because he understood the freedom that comes with financial stability. Finally, John learned to be indifferent to external material wealth. He realized that wealth and possessions did not define him or his worth. This indifference is not about renouncing material wealth, but rather about not letting it control your happiness or peace of mind. John's journey wasn't easy. It required discipline, self-reflection, and a willingness to go against the grain. But his story is not unique. It's the story of anyone who chooses to live by Stoic principles. John's story is a shining example of how Stoic principles can lead to financial freedom. His journey demonstrates that financial freedom is not just about having wealth, but about mastering one's relationship with money. And it all starts with a simple yet powerful philosophy, Stoicism. What are the Stoic principles that can guide us towards financial freedom? Now that's a question worth pondering. To answer that, let's dive into the wisdom of the Stoics. At its core, Stoicism teaches us about acceptance, control, and indifference to external wealth. These principles aren't just philosophical musings, they can serve as practical tools to navigate our financial lives. First, we have acceptance. Stoicism teaches us to accept the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. In the realm of finance, this means acknowledging the realities of our current financial situation, whether it's debt, low income, or a lack of savings. Acceptance is the starting point from which we can begin to take steps towards financial freedom. Next, we focus on what we can control. The Stoics believed that we should concentrate our energies on things within our control and let go of the things that are not. In our financial lives, this could mean focusing on increasing our income, reducing our expenses, and investing wisely. We can't control the economy, the job market, or the stock market, but we can control our financial behaviors and decisions. Lastly, Stoicism emphasizes indifference to external wealth. This doesn't mean we should disregard money or financial success, but rather we shouldn't let our happiness or self-worth depend on it. In practice, this could mean living below our means, saving for the future, and not succumbing to the societal pressures of conspicuous consumption. These principles, when applied, can lead us to make better financial decisions, foster financial independence, and ultimately achieve financial freedom. They encourage us to be proactive, thoughtful, and intentional with our money, leading to a life of financial balance and peace. Embracing these Stoic principles can transform your financial life, and with that transformation comes a sense of tranquility and freedom that no amount of money can buy. So, what does the intersection of Stoicism and financial freedom look like in daily life? Well, it's rather like a dance, a delicate balance between the Stoic principles of self-control, virtue, and acceptance, and the practical aspects of managing money wisely. We've traveled through this journey of understanding, using John's story as a compass, showing us the way towards financial freedom through the lens of Stoicism. We can distill the essence of our discussion into 3 key points. First, the Stoic principle of self-control, which guides us to resist impulsive spending, to save and invest responsibly. It's about making decisions that are in line with our long-term goals, not just our immediate desires. Secondly, the Stoic virtue of wisdom, which encourages us to educate ourselves about financial matters. It's about understanding that money isn't inherently good or bad, it's just a tool. A tool that, when used wisely, can provide us with the freedom to live our lives on our own terms. And finally, the Stoic principle of acceptance. This teaches us to accept that financial markets will fluctuate and that our financial situation will not always be perfect. It's about finding peace in whatever situation we find ourselves in, and focusing on what we can control, our actions and attitudes. These principles are not just theoretical constructs, they are practical tools that can be applied in our daily lives. They can guide us towards financial freedom, not by promising us riches, but by equipping us with the emotional resilience to handle whatever financial situation we find ourselves in. The power of Stoicism and financial freedom is not about accumulating wealth, but about gaining the freedom to live a life aligned with our values and principles. It's about finding contentment in simplicity and peace in acceptance. Remember, financial freedom isn't just about having wealth. It's about having the emotional resilience to handle whatever financial situation you find yourself in. That's the power of Stoicism and financial freedom.